For anyone who's been looking at my social media recently, you'd have seen that I'm doing some work on the ASG/VFC M40A3 Proline. I've said this in my post and people keep asking. This is the Proline version. This is an entirely different platform. Near enough everything in this is different to the Sportline. This is more expensive, a lot more expensive, but a lot higher quality, and it has a lot more parts in common with a typical VSR. The Sportline, I haven't looked at one for many years, but from memory they are of a different quality and internally are completely different, like not even close. So if you're looking at this video or the next video that I'll do after this one in regards to disassembly and upgrades, just remember this is the Proline. It is very different to the Sportline. Again, anyone who's followed me for ages will know one of the very first posts I ever done was this rifle. Back in 2016, I think the original post was. So I know this platform, right? But I got rid of the one I had years and years ago to fund. I'm pretty sure it was to fund some projects I was working on that needed capital. And I wanted one ever since, and then life happens, you forget about it. And then by pure chance, I was looking on Fire Support in the UK. They had one, and Empire Airsoft basically arranged it with them and got me one. And I've had it for a while, but it's just been sat in a box. And again, I just got distracted and forgot about it. Then I was in here cleaning up the other day, and I saw the box, and I was like, right, I am going to do it this time. So I've already done some content on my Instagram about it, and this video is hopefully going to be a quickish one, just to show you the takedown and what sort of internals you can expect inside it. And then I've got to order some parts. I've got to get a couple of parts ordered, and then I've got to try and see if I've got a buddy that can help me out with modifying one of my damper cylinder heads to fit this, even though the stock one's fine. But because of that, this will be two videos. This will be the general chit chat and takedown, and then I'll do another one with all of the parts. Takedown is a little bit more involved than a typical VSR, but it is not difficult. There's just a few little things that you need to watch out for, namely annoying little springs. But let's just crack on. As always, like a VSR, flip it over, and you've got a couple of attachment points. You're going to have a bipod lug here, rear receiver screw, and then in here in the magwell, I don't know how well that's going to get picked up, but there is a screw in here, just there we go, just there, that holds the magwell against the stock, which then holds it against the receiver. The hop-up wheel, by the way, is here, so this uses a TDC hop system, but it's adjustable via a little twisty wheel underneath, which, to be fair, works an absolute treat. But let's go ahead and get it apart. So, Allen key for the rear. Go ahead, take that out. Bipod lug. I just put an Allen key in, give it a twist. Then you can just unscrew this. So this screws all the way through the stock into what is essentially an anchor point on the outer barrel. And then we need a Phillips screwdriver for this screw in here. Like so. Take these out and pop them to the side. Obviously we've still got that rear receiver screw, so let's pop it out. So that's the rear receiver screw, so again just put that, the bipod lug, and then we'll call it the magwell screw, to the side. Stockwise, the hop unit wheel sits inside the receiver, just there, so that can stay as is, you don't need to do anything with that. So for now, this can go to the side. But before I do, this is exceptionally high quality, this stock. It is absolutely solid. The magwell, the whole lot of the magwell is metal. It's really well coated. There's no gaps. Like, this thing is solid. Obviously adjustable cheek rest, adjustable pull, is that what you call that? Basically these can be swapped out to shorten it. and the thing is just solid. And there is an optional attachment you can get. I haven't got one, I haven't even managed to find one. So if ASG, or anyone from ASG watches this video, if you can hook me up with the little wrist rouse section that sits here, I'd be grateful, because they're a bit of a pain to find. But yeah, the stock on this is genuinely impressive, and if I could just drop a VSR into one of these, I would, but it's quite a lot of work. But for this, it is perfect. So I'm just going to shove that to the side. And obviously this is not too dissimilar from a VSR, right? If you've taken one apart. Some things are going to look a bit different, like this, which is the feed ramp system. And this here, which is essentially the anchor point that I was talking about, of where the receiver gets attached. So we're going to start by taking off this, which is 2 screws at this end, 1 screw here. I need to move my lighting. So there's 1 screw here, then 1 either side here, there. Again, just a Phillips screwdriver for these. Some of the screws are a different length, so just be mindful and keep them in an order that you're going to remember. So with those 3 out, you can literally just pop this feed ramp off like so, and that's essentially what it is. Yeah, good quality. There's not a lot of mold seams on the inner channel, which is nice, because there's a lot of clone systems out there that use a very similar sort of feed ramp system, and the quality of the plastic isn't great. And there's a channel in here, which is what the BBs travel down, and any burrs or seams in there cause jams and all sorts. But touch wood, this has had no issues. Well, my last one didn't, and from the limited testing I've done with this one before taking it apart, I had no issues. But you want to put that to the side. Next is, again, similar to a VSR, but just a smidge different. So the outer barrel goes into the receiver, like usual, you screw it in, but there's a small metal bracket, which you'll see clearer in a minute, that sits in there, that has to line up with this channel, because there's this little fin here. This little fin here is basically what catches the BB from the magazine, which is this. And there's basically a cutout in the top of that mag there. This fin goes in there and then pulls a BB and rides it along that channel. And to keep everything aligned, they couldn't obviously do a fully enclosed thread. So it's sort of like a 90% thread with this cutout and this metal band. To keep everything centered, that band is secured by a very long screw through the scope rail. And you'll notice there's no wiggle in this. Like, this thing is, once it's assembled properly, this thing is solid. But again, we're going to need another small Allen key. First screw, front of the receiver. Not that size. This size. We're going to go ahead, take that out. As I said, it's quite a long screw. There you go, put that to the side again, because these screws are different lengths, so again, put that somewhere where you're going to remember it. And then you can go ahead and unscrew this. I am so sorry for all that squeaking. Which bit do we go over first? We'll talk about the receiver stuff first. I'm just going to shove that to the side. I don't know why it keeps flipping when I tap it. I really need, if anyone's got a recommendation for a good webcam to use for recording, this is just a Logitech Streamcam I used from when I did gaming stuff, and just for like business meetings and crap, but it's not great. So standard looking VSR receiver. Obviously you're going to notice this fin straight away. This has a small C-clip. I don't know if we're going to catch that on camera. There's a small C-clip here that you're going to need to pop off. Like so, and then the fin just slides off, so you're going to have these 2 pieces. Do not lose them. There are printable replacements online, but just don't lose them, right? Again, put that somewhere, don't lose it. Trigger unit on this is just absolute bog standard 45-degree VSR trigger. Nothing fancy. Obviously you can leave the 45-degree trigger on and you can get 45-degree upgraded pistons, but in this day and age, you're going to want to swap that out for a 90-degree. In my old one, so from like 10 years ago, I was using a Springer Custom Works V7, 7.2 maybe, because it fit, it worked. The only thing you have to be mindful of with the trigger is because of how the mag sits in that receiver, there's a bit of space where it needs to rest, and obviously if you've got a big chunky front trigger, this isn't going to sit in properly. So I'm going to check in the next video which trigger I've got that will work. I don't know whether a Springer Custom Works 9.4, which is the latest version at the time of making this video, will fit, or a Ball Trig, Airsoft Pro, etc. So I'll check. But in terms of fitment and compatibility, it is a VSR trigger, so a 90-degree will fit. And that is 2 screws here and here. Again, just fill it. So I'll go ahead and take them off. And I've said it about 10 times already, and I'm probably going to say it 10 more times before the video is done. Keep all of the screws together because they are different. And if you put one in the wrong place and it's 1 mil longer, that is going to catch, scratch, and bind something. So just be mindful. So take these two, shift everything along. I'm basically putting them in an order of back, middle, external. Like, I work left to right usually, or I try to at least. With the screws out, trigger just pops off, and again you can see that is your bog standard 45-degree VSR trigger. Cylinder slides out, receiver, put that to the side. Again, genuinely high quality trigger. Like, everything is machined really well. Cylinder, I believe it's a steel cylinder and it's pinned, it's not crimped. Don't know if I can catch the light. There you go. So that is, I'm going to say it's threaded and pinned rather than just crimped, which is what you get on like the lower end VSRs. VSR style cylinder head. I say style because the thread is much, much shorter, and because you've got that feed ramp system, you've got that little cutout there. See that little cutout in the base of the nozzle? That's so that you can fit the C-clip in the feed ramp on. But standard sort of VSR cylinder head, very akin to like a JG. Nothing fancy, brass, but solid O-ring, seals fine. Very short threads though, and we'll come to that in a second. Internals wise, standard 45-degree polymer piston, O-ring, no ports, no damper pad. It is just your standard plastic internals. But that's fine. We're like, this is a platform to build upon. Small 7mm spring, which I think is about 400 FPS on a 2, and polymer spring guide. Internally, so this cylinder absolutely works with standard VSR pistons and spring guides. The only thing that is different is the cylinder head. Really, you could use the stock one. I'm going to try and get one of my cylinder heads shortened and machined. This is a prototype old one of my cylinder heads, so that's a bit different to what you see, but obviously I have the damper pad in here, which works perfectly with every piston, especially designed for the Wasp, but because of that, that's what I wanted to use. But the thread is too long for the cylinder, and it's lacking that cutout. So while it looks like it goes on and gives you that little bit of false hope, it only went on so far before it binded. There. It's literally about, I don't know how well that's going to show up camera, but it's literally about 1.5 to 2 mil too long. But you probably aren't going to need to swap it out. Like, the Wasp will work with the standard head, it just won't be as effective as if you were using a damper head. But the cylinder itself is good quality. I like the bolt handle. It's solid. Like, there is nothing that screams low quality to me. And there is even a little cap here that you can pop off, which is just press fit in with an O-ring, but that covers that rear screw, which is such a simple thing, but no other VSR does that, but I like it. But that's it for that sort of side of the internals. the bit more interesting bit, that doesn't sound right, is the outer barrel and hop-up assembly. So this is the anchor point I was talking about. So this is what the bipod lug screws through the receiver and anchors to, and it keeps it centered. Like, there is no rotation. Once this is installed, there's no wiggle, there's no rotation. It is significantly better than just about every other VSR based platform out there in terms of just how rigid it is once it's properly assembled. Taking and getting access to the hop unit is you slide this collar out. Remember which way it goes in, so the two tabs face the receiver, and that screw hole there is what the long screw in the receiver, when you're going through the scope rail, that's what that attaches to help everything keep centered, because this sits inside this cutout and keeps it straight. So put that to the side. We have to take off this little section here, which is part of the feed system. There's a small Phillips here, so we just take that off. That's going to live right here in the middle. To get the hop unit out, the easiest way I found is to push something from this end, because it's quite a tight fit in there. I can't remember if I got a tool with this, because I know with some platforms you get a little tool that goes in there and unscrews it, but I do know that a 7mm hex key goes in there, Allen key. So you can just put that on the inside. On that one. Yep, so you can just put big Allen key in there. You don't want to put it all the way in because the inner barrel is right there, but just enough on the inside lip to get it turning. And you can twist that out. Like so. Standard brass inner barrel, but you're going to want to push that with something. Can't remember what I used the other day. What did I use the other day? But you're basically going to want to push it through from this end. Until you can see the end of it, and then you can pull it out. But I need to try and find whatever it was I used the other day to push. There we go. So just put something in the end, and then you want to push it through. And now be very, 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 very careful. On this hop unit, on each side of this hop unit, so the 3 and 9 position, there are 2 little divots and there are 2 springs. If you straight up slide this out, they will fire out in 2 separate directions. So cup the end. Once you've got it this far, cup the end, slide it out, and be very careful not to let those springs just explode everywhere. So I'm cupping my hand until I've got that hop unit out. Like so. I don't know whether you'll see that, but if I tip it this way, there's a spring and a detent. Tip it that way, there's another spring and a detent. So these will launch themselves across the room. So be very mindful. I'm going to put them next to there because, again, we're in the middle of the rifle. Otherwise, that is it. You literally can slide it all out. There's one standard sort of plastic barrel spacer that sits somewhere here. From memory, I think you can use any sort of VSR barrel spacer, like Action Army or whatever. They'll fit in. And there was a thread adapter that you can get, but I think that's like a 22 or 23mm by 1 thread. So there might be some stuff that fits. I believe the standard VSR one will fit. It just is a bit wider in terms of it won't sit flush. But that can go to the side. We're not going to need that. And this is the hop unit, which is, it is good. It is absolutely up there. One of the better hop units for a stock platform. It's solid. It assembles via 2 screws at the rear. So there's a screw here and a screw here. And then you've got this hop down hop arm here, there. And how that's adjusted is this little piece here is what gets contacted from the wheel on the underside. And it basically just pushes it up, which applies the hop. So it gets pushed from the underside. Don't know if I'll be able to catch that on there. But you see the arm gets pushed down. No wobble in that, no side to side movement. It is solid, and the nozzle sits in there and seals absolutely perfectly. Like once it's in there, you're gonna get a good seal. But to take it apart, it's literally 2 screws here at the back, 1 on each side. Go ahead and take those out, and again, keep these screws separate because they are different lengths. Then what you have to be careful of is there is a spring under this arm here. So hold that, take this rear section off, move it out of the way, and then in there, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there is a spring under this arm. So you just bend the arm back, that spring pops out, and it literally sits on a little divot in here, and then there's a little recess on the underside of this. So don't lose that spring, put it to the side. And then the hop arm has a pin on it, so you slide the front off. That's just a solid piece, there's nothing moving in there or to unscrew, so that just comes off. And there is a small pin, kind of like an AEG chamber, there's a pin just there. So you're going to want to tap that out. Sometimes it's just loose enough that it will pop out by itself. But that's what you're going to be left with, a little pin. Pop that to the side. And then the hop arm just slides off, which is literally just that simple mechanism. Turn the hop unit over, and you have, if I can get it out, this little plastic slider which rides down in a channel. So the hop arm pushes on this from the top. It's got a little, again, I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera. I do need a better one. There's a small groove there which an AEG style nub would sit in, and you actually do get a long flat, almost like the Laylax bridge nubs or like the Firefly nub. You get a long one of those in there, which is pretty good. It's a quite a hard solid rubber, no seams, small concaveness to it, and it works fine. And then you're left with the main chamber. There is a C-clip, so you go ahead, use a very small screwdriver. I got a small flathead screwdriver, and you just want to pop that C-clip off. More C-clip there. And then you can just slide it out from the front. So you pull the chamber back, barrel goes forward, and you've got it's like an old Maple Leaf Monster Delta bucking with the tab cut off. You're probably not going to be able to see the patch at all. Yeah, no, not a chance. But basically, if I take it off, you've got a standard brass VSR style barrel. It's a VSR cut, nice big window. For a stock barrel, it's good. I'm going to assume this particular rifle is really old because of all the discoloration where the rubber's been sat on it, sorry. But VSR style bucking, it's probably I'd say that's a 70-degree rubber. And again, I don't know if you're going to see it in there. Maybe up here? No. Basically, it's kind of like an old Maple Leaf, long, flat, elongated patch, but a bit narrow. But it does the job, it's not too bad. But the barrel's VSR compatible, the bucking's VSR compatible. The barrel length on this is about 470, so a standard VSR is usually about 430. There are aftermarket VSR cut 470s you can get. I'm probably going to print something to internally suppress mine with a spacer to keep it all centered, so I can just use more commonly available 470 barrels. But the nub is an AEG style nub, so if you've got a favorite nub, there's plenty of options out there. It'll drop in. It's genuinely well put together. Like, there's very little movement. I haven't found any barrels this doesn't fit on, other than ball barrels, but assembly is easy. And while this bucking, the installed bucking, doesn't have a side tab, the actual hop unit sleeve section itself, does have a cutout, so you can use something like a flamingo or a maple leaf, etc., or a modify. Yeah, that's it. That is the gubbings of the ASG M40A3 Proline. Pretty much VSR this end, other than the cylinder head, but the stock cylinder head's going to be absolutely fine. It's probably about a 4.5mm OD, so most air brakes are going to be fine with that as well. 90-degree triggers will fit. You just need to be mindful of the actual shape of the trigger, just to make sure there's enough room that the mag's going to sit in and feed unimpeded. Standard VSR style cylinder, but I don't think I'm going to need to replace this, other than if I can't find someone to machine down one of my heads, I might swap this out for another cylinder that does have longer threads. But otherwise, I don't see any need to change this either. Spring guide, anything's going to fit and work. Springs, we're all probably going to jump on and put 9mm springs in this with a 9mm guide. So that's all really good news. VSR bucking, VSR barrel, don't need to change anything in the hop unit. Could swap the nub if you want to, but realistically I don't even think you're going to need to do that. So it would just be a barrel and a bucking, and that's it. I'm not going to bother putting it all together because it's a pretty simple process. Just rewind the video and that'll be it. And once I've got some parts ordered and I've got some other stuff I need to be cracking on with, I will do an upgrade video of whatever I decided to shove in it. But realistically, it's probably going to be, at the time of doing the video, a Springer Custom Works trigger, one of my barrels if I've got any left. Otherwise, I'll just get a nice 603 steel barrel. I'll put a 60 Flamingo in. I'm happy with the nub and the hop unit, so that's all fine. And then I'll probably whack a Wasp in with maybe a Modify or a Rapax, Modify 130 or a Rapax 2 dual. We'll see how we go. But that's it. Any questions, obviously just leave it on the comment or message me on Instagram because I don't have Facebook Messenger. And yeah, ask away. Just remember, if you've got this far in the video and you haven't skipped, this is the Proline. It is not the same as the Sportline. Like, this will not help you in the slightest if you're getting a Sportline. But otherwise, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed it, and it shouldn't take me too long to get the next video done. It just depends on how long it takes me to get the parts. But thank you for watching. Enjoy.